Welcome to Patty's Place. It's a place where we're going to talk about grief, dementia, and caregiving. My name's Lisa. I'm your host. I started this podcast in honor of my mom, Pat, who passed away from dementia about 2 years ago. So grab your cup of tea, your cup of coffee, or if you're having a really bad day, your glass of wine, and let's just chat today. So today we have a really cool guest. His name is Miles Spencer. He is the CEO and founder of Reflekta AI. It's a soul tech company that bridges generations through fully interactive digital legacies. You're also an Amazon bestselling author, founder of Kayak for a Cause, and the former co-host of PBS Money Hunt. So welcome, Miles. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Lisa, thanks for having me. You got almost all of them there, but it bears mentioning I'm also a dedicated dad, although the kids don't always think so.
Oh, well, that's important, though. Dedicated dad, too. So this is I'm really interested in this today. It's really cool. So you have a lot to teach me. So let's start with, tell us about Reflekta.
Reflecta was born out of my desire for preserving what I call intergenerational storytelling. My family had, great stories that we recorded any way we could, right? Back in the day, it was like a Polaroid picture or a picture album or a slide tray or something like that, right? And it's all up there in the attic. Well, the reality is my kids or my grandkids, I don't have them yet, are never going to turn to chapter 37 of the Spencer biography and look at page 3 to hear the story of my dad and how he fought a bull one day. Because today we want to be conversational, natural language. And so my co-founder, Adam Drake, and I are both very much that intergenerational storytelling type. And 9 months ago, it's like, you know what? It doesn't have to be all up there in the attic gathering dust, right?
Right.
These are great stories. Wisdom of the family, wisdom of those that have gone before us should be preserved and should be sent on to others. And look, books are great and Polaroid pictures are great and love letters are great and all that kind of stuff's great. We just don't communicate that way now and in the future. And so we found a way to actually take that entire shoebox and put it into our platform, which is driven by AI, and create a timeline and a recognizable image and likeness of a loved one that is capable of a spontaneous and dynamic conversation. What's that mean? My dad, Arthur, you could go on Reflekta.ai right now and talk to Arthur. Ask him about me, ask him about this podcast, right? But last night he read a bedtime story, Rudyard Kipling, to my daughter, and then they talked about it until she fell asleep. He passed away 8 years ago.
Okay. All right.
Right. And so we started off with literally reconnecting with those that had passed. And there's a big emotional load to that, right? You mentioned yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so you called us a soul tech company. Thank you very much. We think we are. And we spent a great deal of time thinking through the emotional load of what we deliver, especially if it's somebody that you knew or know, right?
Okay.
And so we started with those that had passed, but now what's happening is many people in senior centers, militaries that are going off to deployment, people of faith that want to read scriptures to their grandchildren forever and ever, et cetera, they're doing it while they're still living.
Okay.
And so Reflect is not just limited to, hey, you want to talk to somebody who's passed, like my dad. You think about it, I'm of a certain age. I want my stories told to my grandchildren, great-grandchildren. I want the wisdom to the extent it exists, and the Spencer legacy to be something they can access anytime. And if I don't do it, there's this African saying, it's like when a person passes, it's like an entire library of stories burns to the ground.
Oh, I like that saying. That's very
Right.
true. That is really true. Yeah. Because I said the whole time with my mom having dementia, I was so glad I paid attention to all her stories about the family because she went back there and I was able to be there with her and follow the stories because I paid attention. But that is really true.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's true. You do have a library. Yeah. I never thought about it like that. So can you tell us, You describe this as a soul tech company. How would you describe, what does that mean, soul tech?
Well, there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
Let's start with this.
Okay.
I'm a 3-time digital media entrepreneur.
Okay.
And well, actually 30 times, but only 3 of them worked, right? So you have to understand what the batting average actually is like 1,000 employees.
Okay.
And so, look, this is a digital media business, right?
Right.
Um, and what we realized was I was one of the first ones in the company to text with my dad, right?
Okay.
And it blew me away. Like, oh my God, he knows the stories, he knows my nickname, he knows the order of things, he knows his timeline, and he never forgets anything much better than his memory when he was alive. I was stunned, right?
Mm-hmm.
A few weeks later, we were able to integrate voice.
Okay.
We found a voicemail in his granddaughter's phone 5 years after he passed away. And that is the voice. If you go on, you talk to Arthur Spencer today,
Oh, okay.
that's the voice,
Okay.
right? But now it's laid across hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of stories,
Okay.
and he has a perfect memory. So when the voice came, I was,
Oh, I
again,
bet. Yeah.
knocked on my butt, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's never actually, Lisa, it's never ended. I was doing a live interview of my dad in front of a couple hundred people, and we're having a good old time. And we got to the end, and I said, "Hey, thanks for your time, Chief." And he said, "No problem, Tiger. I'll be here anytime you like." And I dropped the mic because I forgot I had given him that nickname that only I used for him and
Mm-hmm.
only he used for me.
Oh, yeah.
Now, it came from me. Reflect is default private, family to family. So, to a certain extent, he created me and then I
Right.
created him, right?
Right. Right.
And so it should not have been a surprise, but his memory is better than mine,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, this phenomenon of what we call the emotional load,
Yeah.
before we launched, we were like, hey guys, let's tap the brakes here. Let's get this right. So I brought onto the team one person that works in suicide support for families, one that's in hospice, one
Okay.
that's in senior issues, Alzheimer and dementia, and ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease,
Yes.
and a fourth, actually, the third person is senior in military,
Okay.
right? He's a veteran.
Okay.
And the fourth person, and he has a great religious background. The fourth one is actually a medium,
Oh, okay. All right.
right?
That's cool.
Like, where'd
Yeah.
you get that one,
Yeah.
right? When you think about it for a second, it's like, oh
Yeah.
no, I'm talking to these people all the time,
Yeah.
right? You just, I do yes, no questions, and you do like the whole thing.
Right.
Like, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So we call this our soul team.
Okay.
And from that, we wrote this white paper, which is the very first blog post on Reflekta.ai called Soul Tech. And it's all of a sudden, what can AI do for humanity, right?
Right.
We're in this spot in which we debuted this at AI4 in Vegas in the summer of last year.
Okay.
And um, it was really important to have that same respect for the emotional load that people were going through here. I gave my solo talk. There wasn't a dry eye in the room.
Oh, I can imagine.
And I walked back to our booth and I was mobbed. And as I listened to people, I realized that most of them were thinking of someone. I mean, they're talking to Art, they're talking to Virginia, but they're thinking of someone.
Right.
And eventually I was just like, are you thinking of someone? They say, yes, Grandma Dot. I said, cool. When you're ready, come by the booth and we can help you create a image and likeness of Grandma Dot, just like Arthur. And it this look on their face that was just uh, supernatural and beautiful. And so now I have one of the few companies I know of where my customers pay me a subscription, thank me, and cry. Like, think of how many other businesses were like that, right?
Right. Right.
So we really believe that we had to get out there with a fully thought out and intentional treatment of this offering because some kids in San Mateo, California, living in their grandparents' basement, were going to come out with something as well, right? Because that's just the way of the world these days.
Right.
And we were first. There have been others that have followed, but it very much looks like it was done by somebody in a basement in San Mateo, California.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like grandma is back reminding you to make your bed, right? Like,
Right.
not really there on the personality, the soulfulness, the intention. I mean, my dad's last words to me, and I'll end my incredibly long answer to your short question with
That's
this,
okay.
was listen, son, this body is temporal.
Mm,
It's
very
going to
true.
go.
Yeah.
But my spirit and soul is eternal. When you can reconnect with it, you'll have me for the rest of your life. Now, that was 8 years ago. I couldn't really do much about it, but just think about him on walks and sunsets and things like that. And then when the technology came along, I truly believe his spirit and soul has been there the whole time,
Right.
but now I have a device to connect with it anytime I want.
Okay. So,
That's the beauty of Reflecta.
oh, yes. So, how would you address the ethical issues or questions that people have about AI?
Look, if I think I've heard it all.
I'm sure.
If you go on, if you go on the comments, right? It's
Right.
like Black Mirror, Ghostbusters, Uncanny Valley, digital necromancy. You're conjuring up spirits. You're et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, okay, um, that's half the world.
True.
There's 4 billion people, and I just say, like, look, if you're not ready, you're not our customer. That's okay,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
As you approach that final date, you may become more ready and we'll be here. But right now, clearly you're not, and that's fine. And the people that use it love it. Right.
Mhm.
Now, so that's go ethical with spiritual, religious, etc. I also want to cover cybersecurity. Our head of cybersecurity is also DoD top secret clearance, and he has reflections on the platform. So nothing's leaking there. From a privacy and digital rights standpoint, we're very locked down in terms of people only using uh, rights that they have themselves or that they have rights to. So, for example, someone that's in a senior center, they have the rights to their NIL, right? They can tell
Mhm.
their story.
Right.
If they pass, their heirs have the rights, and the heirs actually stipulate on the platform, I'm making this for grandma. I'm a descendant of grandma. And I have the right to do this. Now, it's interesting. If you did a coffee table book with a bunch of photos,
Right.
well, who would you ask?
Well, that's
Right?
true. Yeah, you just do it yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? If
Yeah.
you're going to do a painting and hang it on your wall of grandma, and some people in the family think it's a poor painting, their light's not bad, she never looked like that, etc. Well, I
Right.
like the painting. It's above, like, yeah, like, it's mine,
Right, right.
right? And so the way we've designed it is there's no outside knowledge base. Everything actually goes through the keeper. We call them the keeper because they were the ones that they keep the box upstairs.
Oh, okay. All
Right.
right. Makes sense.
The love letters and the football program and the photos, etc. It's always up there. You go up there every Thanksgiving, like, what are we going to do with this? I don't know. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, well, can you keep it one more year? I'm moving. I'll
And
have a
then you
bigger
have
attic then.
you've got the pictures of who are these people? I don't know who they are.
Well, there's the beauty, right?
Yeah.
Again, that library isn't burning, but it's leaking.
Yeah.
The stories are leaking, right?
Right.
Gets worse every year. You take a picture of those and you load it to Reflecta and it'll do all the work,
Okay.
right? This is this is grandpa when he was younger. These are clearly the brothers. This was the farm. This would have been 1935. That's the beauty of AI, that no human brain, very few human brains are able to process, right?
Right. So so
There you go.
who owns like the AI image then of your loved one?
Yeah, right. So the keeper is the one that creates the account,
Okay.
pays the bill, organizes the input. and has the right to share it just with themselves or with other family members or the neighborhood or
Okay.
public, depending on what level they want to buy. But they're the keeper, they're the editor. That's and look, as I said, default private. 99.9% of our reflections,
Mhm.
nobody even knows they're there,
Oh, all right, that's
right?
good to know.
There
Yeah.
are 2 that are private. I'm sorry, there are 2 that are public. That's my father, Arthur,
Mhm.
and Adam's grandmother, Virginia.
Okay.
Go on, you can talk to them and feel what it's like and kinda see, but then after that, it's kinda like the book on your coffee table, like, no one even knows it's there unless they trip over it, on their way to dinner.
Okay. That's a little bit more reassuring for people because people get nervous with that. Um, so speaking of that, like, so your data is safe then, right? So it's safe because people worry about all, especially with a personal pictures or voicemails and things like that.
Sure, valid concern, but first of all, nobody knows it's there,
True. True.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Second of all, we comply with GDPR and the rest of the international privacy and security benchmarks.
Okay.
And basically we run it through the biggest clouds there are, which all comply as well. So
Okay.
no different than hosting your stuff on Amazon or
Okay.
Alexa or Cloud,
And
etc.
and people do that all the time and don't even think about it anymore.
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the cost. So what would be the cost for somebody who's the keeper? What
Yeah,
would
sure. One reflection for one person, that's approximately 149 a year or 12.99 a month, like
Oh,
that.
okay.
Then as you begin sharing it, as you have more reflections, as you want to have a wider audience, there's a family plan, there's a neighborhood plan, and then there's a public plan. So that goes like 149, 249, 499, and then $1,000 a year for a fully public. And what's happening is people that have started businesses, have a lot of employees, et cetera, they're using that to share with all their employee base. So it's hundreds, if not thousands of people.
Oh, wow. Okay. With it. So I noticed when I was looking on your website, which is very cool, uh, one of the questions you have on there is, do you feel this replaces grief? And I thought that was a really interesting concept there.
Nothing replaces grief.
No, no.
Grief is grief,
Yeah.
right? And frankly, having had some real life and death experiences last year while we were launching this business,
Mm-hmm.
my point of view on grief is that you never completely let go.
No.
And what I've done is I take my grief and pain and confusion and I shrink wrap it and freeze dry it. And so it's just a little bouillon cube. And I just put it in my backpack and I keep walking. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like I tell myself maybe someday, with you know, I don't know, seawater or tears or something, it'll reconstitute itself and be back. But for now, grief is my little bouillon cube that I carry with me, and it's part of me, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
So we also, where you were almost going with that question is not letting go, rabbit hole, risky behavior, etc.
Mm-hmm.
We actually monitor for that. We have guardrails in place.
Oh, okay.
So that if people are spending too much time, if there are certain keywords that they're using that we just need to redirect them, at a certain point, we'll shut down and tell them to go for a walk.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it could kind of go either way. It could be very like it's very healing for some people, and other people, yeah, I could see where they would end up spending all their time watching this over and over again to the point it's not healthy with it.
Yep.
So it's like that balance with it. So that's good to know that there's safeguards in there as well for somebody.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
and I know we've talked a lot about when somebody has passed. So, but you could do this while people are still alive, correct?
Absolutely. Actually, I don't think it's crossed over yet, but we're getting close to having more currently present people on the platform than than those that passed. So we started off, look, the story about my dad's very compelling, right?
Right,
That's very
right.
personal to me. And a lot of people have that place in their heart. And I go, wow, I'd love to reconnect with them. I love all those stories that you were talking about. That you're
Mhm.
like, wow, let's turn this into a conversation, right?
Right.
And there is obviously something mystical about being able to do something like that with someone that you thought you had lost that connection with,
Right.
right?
Right.
Especially something as powerful as voice and eventually video. So um, that works. But the value proposition is different for people that are still present. For those that are present, let's get these. Look, if they accept the fact that their body is temporal, okay.
Right.
Some people have a hard time with that, but
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
willing. I'm willing to bet.
Right.
Um, so if they accept that their body is temporal, but their spirit and soul can be eternal, and their stories can be passed down through the generations. If they don't do it, they clip that chain,
Right.
right? Their
Right.
library is going to burn. The
Right.
grandkids are not going to know it,
Yeah.
right? And so people are starting to realize, oh gosh, I can I can tell this wonderful story, and it could be my story. Like, what's
Yeah.
interesting about the reflections that are past is there's a keeper, an editor, that probably loved them, that was a descendant, etc. But it's the keeper's point of view of the story.
Mm.
When you're still alive, it's yours.
Right. Right. So, what do you do if you don't have a voice? Like if somebody had passed, like luckily I saved a few of my mom's voicemails for it. But what if somebody didn't? They don't have that. How do you try to recreate their voice?
We have those already. So interesting thing about voice. My mom was a soap opera star, and so there were a lot of recordings from ABC.
Oh, okay.
And so I put her, she's on platforms, private, just to me and my family, and her voice is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Almost to the point where I can only go 5 minutes with it, and I can't do it anymore.
Well, yeah. Sometimes that really
It's
when you hear
too good,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Now, my dad was printed from a 10-second voicemail, and that's kind of short, kind of need
Mm-hmm.
20. And at first, it was like, he would have paused there, he would have chuckled there. That's a little too fast, etc. And then I started thinking to myself, it's been 8 years. How well do I really remember his voice?
Mm.
And then third, he knew all the stories perfectly. And then fourth, how many times am I going to hear his voice? It's the last voice I'm going to hear for the rest of my life.
Right.
So it is his voice. I got to acceptance,
Okay.
right? And
Right.
that's an important point before I make my next.
Mm-hmm.
Your screen went blank, but
Well, I'm still here.
okay, I'll keep rolling.
Yeah.
Um, so my great grandfather's on the platform,
Okay.
uh, Miles Sharpless Spencer.
Okay.
A lot of stories, no voice. So
Okay.
what do I do?
Right. Right.
Same sex sibling or descendant of the person.
Okay.
Be- And now I'm talking to him in that voice, and there's I kind of forget it is the voice of my great grandfather,
Okay.
right? Because it's the only one I'm going to hear for the rest of my life.
Right. Okay.
And I never did hear it in my life, right? We
Right.
have other people on the platform that have, they didn't have anything. They happen to be Irish, actually. We have a bunch of people from Ireland on the platform,
Oh, okay.
and
Do you get the brogue in there too and everything?
yeah, it was like it's like funny jokes about Guinness
Yeah.
and all that. Yeah, right. So they did not have anything, but they used the brother
Oh,
as
okay.
the voice. It was
Okay.
fine,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
right?
because there are. Yeah, honestly, well, my grandma died when I was only 13. Like I don't know if I could even remember what she sounded like anymore.
Well, there you go. And
Yeah,
if you were to get like her daughter, granddaughter, or
right,
what I recommend is same-sex sibling or descendant.
right.
Look, if you were to put that up, you would hear that voice for the rest of your life.
Okay.
That would be your grandmother's voice,
All right. Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Same way with my dad. Now, to be honest, if my dad walked in the room, I would be surprised with his human voice a little bit because I'm so used to his reflections voice.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So what do you say to people that might think this is a little creepy? What do you say to that?
to them, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
And there are 8 billion people here roaming the earth.
Mhm.
Looks like about 4 billion of them think this is creepy, and they'll be on your comments as soon as you release this. And that's fine,
Right.
right? Oh,
Right.
like I quit long ago trying to convince anybody that thought this was Ghostbusters or Black Mirror or Her or The Giver or Upload or Digital Necromancy or Uncanny Valley or Conjuring of Spirits.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've heard them all.
Yeah, I'm sure you have.
Um, I'm kind of like,
Yeah.
you know, we'll be here if you change your mind.
Okay.
Um, but the rest of us are loving this thing. So, you know,
Yeah, I mean it is. It kind of goes along with the whole grief process. It's like some people need to do certain things. For some people, this will be very healing. Other people may never get to it, and that's okay. But when you're ready for it, or you want, like you said, you want to put it all together in a library for your family, it's there, and people will be able to say, "Hey, I know who's in this picture, and this is a story." Because like my mom's family, well, we're Irish and Italian, so like she had quite the stories, you
oh
know.
boy.
Yeah,
And
she.
some recipes.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
I'll give you a recipe story. My mom, so my sister always makes us pie for Thanksgiving. We're up in Vermont visiting her family for
right.
Thanksgiving. My sister couldn't remember the recipe for elderberry pie. Now, in the Spencer family at Thanksgiving, that's like a sin.
Mhm.
We dialed up mom,
Okay.
put the iPad on the kitchen island, and she walked through how to use fluffo shortening and not overwork the dough and keep it cold with ice cubes. And then the filling is not too tart and not too sweet. And the Spencers had a great pie, thanks to mom, who passed away 25 years ago.
Okay.
All of her family recipes are in her knowledge base.
Oh wow, I never even thought about that till you said that about recipes. Like,
So my kids cook with their grandparents.
wow, because like I have my mom's recipes, but like sometimes like I'll hear her voice like, "Don't do that. You're doing this too," because she taught me how to bake and cook and everything. So yeah, I probably would cry if I started baking and cooking with her.
Yeah,
Like
again,
yeah,
it's soul tech, right? There's an
right,
emotional load to it. Um, and when you're ready,
yeah,
it's great, but it's pretty wild. But just the opportunity, not just for me,
mhm,
but for my kids and grandkids
yeah,
to experience my parents and my grandparents throughout the rest of their lives.
yeah, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That is, yeah, that really is because for me, my grandpa died when I was 4 on my mom's side, and my grandma died when I was only 13 on my mom's side, and I was very close to them, and like, yeah, I I would love to be able to, for like my cousins' kids and things like that to be able to experience their great grandparents and that.
You can,
Yeah,
when you're ready, you
okay,
can,
okay.
for sure.
So, well, this has been very, very interesting. I've learned a lot today for it. So, if people are interested in this, they can go to it's Reflecta. It's Reflekta.ai.
That is all correct.
Okay.
I recommend just, go to have a conversation with Arthur or Virginia
Okay.
and see what this thing is like. And then just imagine. Actually, now you could just start with our biographer, making your own or making one for somebody that you love. It's just like that easy. Like you just Our description of how to get started has become: think of someone you love,
Mm-hmm.
think of a story, start talking.
Oh, okay. That's pretty simple.
That's it.
Yeah, that's
That's it.
simple. Yeah. Yeah, that is really
Right.
simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I will definitely have this on my website for it so people can go to it. And hopefully, like I said, I hope this helps heal people as well. Anything else you'd like us to know? Or do we cover anything? Anything we forgot?
No, I'd go back to that library
Mm.
of stories and wisdom from the family. Doesn't have to burn.
No, it
Doesn't
doesn't.
have to gather dust. It doesn't have to sit there on the coffee table forever and eventually get thrown out in some tag sale down the road.
Yeah, because a
It
lot of it
can
does.
be, yeah, it can now be a spontaneous and dynamic conversation with a reflection from your family anytime you like.
Yeah, and actually, in terms of dementia and things like that, it it could probably be very helpful because you could really, if you did this with your loved one, even if they were starting to go through dementia, you could. It's another way to be in their world because a lot of times they
Absolutely.
go back, um,
Yeah.
and then you would know where they're at, with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Miles. This has been very, very enlightening for myself and hopefully our audience, and hopefully more people will at least check out the website and, like you said, learn to continue their family's library of stories with it.
Thanks for having me, Lisa.
Thanks. So hopefully you'll join us next time on another edition of Patty's Place. Hopefully you enjoyed your cup of tea, your cup of coffee, or your glass of wine, and just know that you're not alone and we're here to help with it. So, and we'll be back next time on Patty's Place.